All right. Welcome everybody um, to this information session today. My name is Henry Boyson. I'm from the business school. Just before we get started with everything, let me just quickly have a feel of the room. Just ask some of you where you're from. Let's go with Madre. Where are you joining us from tonight?
Hi, Henry. I'm joining from Somerset West in Cape Town.
Somerset West. Oh, that's around the
Mhm.
corner from us.
Yes,
Miguel, you were with us last night. You are well, from Brackenfell, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, correct. Good
Correct.
evening.
Good evening. Welcome for joining us. Yonela Makalima, where are you joining us from this evening?
Evening, Henry. I'm joining from Joburg.
From Joburg. Welcome, welcome. Wanyuiki Sera. I remember you. You joined us last night as well. I believe you from, is it Nairobi in Kenya?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome once again. Reinhard
Thank
Boma.
you.
Um, maybe Reinhard is not available. Ilse, I know you were with us last night as well. Elaine Sebastian, just the final one. Where are you joining us from? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so once again, thank you for joining us. Yeah, so tonight we will be focusing on our academic programs. So some of you are interested maybe in exploring a couple of programs, wanting to find out maybe which one suits you. And so for tonight, I'd like to just welcome Professor Jako Volschenk. He's the head of teaching and learning, or learning and teaching at Stellenbosch Business School. And Michelle, who's in the background, busy with all the technical things. So yeah, so we'll get straight into it. Like I said, once again, thank you for joining us. Taking some time out from your personal lives and so forth. So we'll get right into it. Like I said, Professor Jako Volschenk, he specializes in sustainability and strategy, and so he's part of our faculty members there. And Prof, thank you once again. Over to you.
Thanks, Henry. Thanks thanks to all of you for making time to be here. I love doing these information sessions. We've got limited time, so I'm not going to waste too much time on plenty of detail. What I would like to suggest is just, if you have questions, and if you don't mind, just pop them in the chat. If there's something that Henry feels is very important, then he will probably interrupt me and tell me that there's a question. So keep them coming. And don't feel shy. If you have a question, then I'm pretty sure someone else also had that question. And then Henry also knows the content of the session. So let's say you've got a question about the blended versus a modular format, for instance, then Henry would know that it's still coming up and that you don't, we don't have to respond to that question just then at that time. The tagline on this slide says, begin your story's next chapter. And I think what's quite important for us at the business school is this idea of lifelong learning, that we want people that start their postgraduate diploma with us to continue into their masters. If you feel up to it, I wouldn't recommend a PhD, but those that eventually want to do a PhD, that's certainly the case for them to do. But what is implicit in what I just said is that when we want to walk a journey with people, quality is of critical importance for us. Our best marketing material is our students, or are our students. So we invest in quality. So if you do a program with Stellenbosch Business School, it's most likely not going to be the easiest one that you can do in South Africa. But I can promise you that you will have a qualification that has value and that will teach you what you need to know. All right, so let me just get straight into it. You're welcome to keep your cameras off. It's always nice to speak to faces, but I know that if no one else has their faces on, then I've got two screens. So if I'm turning my head to the side, it's because I'm watching the screen on the other side. All right, so just on the point of Stellenbosch Business School, let me start by saying that, you know, the vision of the school is to be globally recognized as a source of value for a better world. So it is really important for us that the programs that we deliver adds value, that it adds to making the world a better place. And the best way for us to do that is through our students. And we do this, the mission statement, those of you familiar with vision and mission statements, vision is where you want to go, mission is how you get there. So the mission is through knowledge advancement, that's research and transformative learning, we develop responsible leaders. So this idea of responsible leadership is very pertinent to the business school. If you search for responsible leadership, you'll see that that phrase is pretty much owned by, well, not owned in that sense, but we have a huge focus on that aspect of it. Just to introduce you. Sorry, let me just see Henry, who's not muted.
It's fine, Prof. I muted.
Okay, thanks, Henry. Okay, so let's just quickly look at some of the aspects of academic excellence. Top-ranked university, research university in Africa, that's of course Stellenbosch University. So there are other universities in South Africa that publish more, but none of them publish more with the number of staff. So we're quite a small university, but we punch high above our weight. We are consistently one of the top business schools in Africa and also then triple accredited. So EQUIS is European, AMBA is British, ASSB is American. But not only that, they also measure completely different things. I'm not going to go into the detail of that. Also, in terms of the QS World University ranking, in terms of Ed Universal, I think we were #1 in Africa or #2 in Africa last year and the year before. So, you know, we are a quality institution. We are very proud of what we are. And like I said earlier, it's most likely not going to be the easiest degree that you do, but it certainly will have a lot of impact. If you don't know where the business school is, this is the campus. So it is roughly halfway between Stellenbosch and Cape Town. So we are in the northern suburbs of Cape Town, an area called Bellville, Durbanville. In the distance there, you can see Tiger Valley, the mall, not the one over here. That's the velodrome. That's the bicycle race place. And this is a picture that was taken, I think, just after COVID, celebrating everyone coming back to campus. Of course, this is not everyone at the campus. This was just everyone that was on campus on this particular day. But it is also not a large number of people. So it is important to understand that this is, well, the business school is a small institution. We are part of a massive university with engineering, medicine, and law, all those different faculties that we're very well known for. But the business school is a separate campus, which is, like I said, halfway between Stellenbosch and Cape Town. And this is where most of our in-person programs are delivered on this campus. So again, I don't want to belabor the statistics too much. You can see that we've got 6 research centers, a number of core faculty people, articles published, so roughly 2 per person, which is quite high by national standards. With the international, this is a picture from Stellenbosch, so this is not the business school. This is where, if those of you know Stellenbosch would know, this is where they called it the red plane. I'm not sure what plane is in English, but the red plane, and the library is underneath this place, so it's a beautiful place to see. But you can also see 35,000 alumni around the world. So it is an international university. It's world renowned for quality. Of course, you know, South Africa is fortunate with having probably about 5 universities that can compare with any international university. So we're very proud of our universities in general, but then of Stellenbosch as well. So just to go look at the responsible leadership aspect, we develop through programs and teaching, we demonstrate through our research and outputs, we distinguish through the quality of our relationships. So You will hopefully find that if you do engage with the business school, that the relationships are very authentic. We try to get to know people. When we also run programs, we want people to come to campus to meet their fellow students. This is not the case for the PGDs. Many of the PGDs never come to campus, but that will also change in 2028. But we know that the distance learning aspect is attractive for many people. But there will be plenty of time. If any of this is vague or unclear to you, please just ask questions as we proceed. Well, applications have been open since the 1st of April. They close in roughly a month from now. And then there's something called RPL, which is recognition of prior learning. We do not start with RPL until all the applications are in. RPL means that even if you don't have a degree, you can register for a PGD. Even if you don't have a PGD, you could still register for a master's, but it does mean that you have to make up the gap in your education by showing that you've got relevant experience at the right level. It's not a tool to accelerate your education. It's a way to recognize the time that you have spent on education that is not formally recognized in other systems. If you are an international student, I heard that there was someone from Nigeria, for instance. Please make contact with our international office that can help you, can assist you with your application, also with understanding exactly where your existing qualifications fit within the bigger framework of the South African qualifications framework or authority called SAQA. All right, so to provide you with an overview of our programs, while I have her on the screen, this is Dr. Doris Viljoen. She's also the head of our Futures Research program. It's one of our programs. It's both at a PGD and a master's level. It's a very popular program. I'll come to that just now. It's quite often people that have done MBA degrees, that work in strategy, etc., often register for this program. But let me talk in general about the different programs. So this is quite a complex diagram. And what it aims to illustrate here is the vertical channels that you can follow at the business school, but then also the horizontal switches that you can make. And they're not necessarily all visible, but let me try to get my pen here. Let's see if I can get a pen. Okay, it's not going to work, so let me just do. Okay, give me a second. Here we go. So if you, for instance, look at the left-hand side, I mentioned the SAQA, the South African Qualifications Authority. So in South Africa, we have this thing called the National Qualifications Framework that tells you at what level your current degree is. So a normal degree is NQF 7, then postgraduate diploma, which as the name suggests is after your degree. So that's NQF 8, master's is 9, PhD 10. It's always easy just to remember that 10 is PhD, is the highest you can go, and then just go every step down if you forget. But at the top, you can see the different departments. So, you've got development finance, you've got business management, you've got futures research, project management, coaching, leadership, financial planning. So these are in our school the different big departments that we have, even though we're a small school. And then let's say that if you want to work in development finance, you can start with a PG DIP in development finance. Then that will give you admission into the MPhil, which would give you most likely admission into the PhD program, and then into, well, actually there is nothing at the top. That is the PhD is the highest. The same with the MBA, business management or Masters in Business Administration. So you can also register for the PG DIP BMA, then go into the MBA, and then all the PhDs other than the development finance are actually just a pure PhD program. What is quite special about the way that the program design at Stellenbosch works is if you had registered for any of these three, well, actually any of these four, that will give you admission into the MPhil Development Finance or the MBA. And of course, so you can think of it as a chassis of modules that are applicable to many different streams. And if you do the PG Dip over 2 years, then you can specialize. The only one that is quite specific, and I need to point this out, is that if you are interested in the MPhil in Future Studies, so the one in the square block that I'm doing the vertical block, this is the only one where you cannot do the MPhil in Futures without the PG Dip in Futures. So even if you have a postgraduate, even if you are, for instance, an engineer with a 4-year degree, which would already be regarded as at a NQF 8 level South African qualification, then you would still have to do a PG Dip in Futures to get into the MPhil. And it is because it's such a specialist degree. Okay. So let's look at the different programs. Firstly, of course, the flagship of the business school is the Masters of Business Administration, the MBA. This is ultimately the place where business schools originated from. So it is in many schools the flagship, which is also true for us. This is the director of the school, Professor Chris van der Wuffen. Things that stand out, we've mentioned the accreditation, responsible leadership, the flexibility that our programs provide. And I think many of you that are on the program are often or are interested because of the flexibility. Something that distinguishes the MBA is the international study module. So if you do the MBA, then there's a compulsory international study module, which is included in the fee. So the financial mail released results about the surveys of costs, etc., of MBAs. And it's always difficult in that magazine to make people understand that most business schools do not include the international study module. It's included in the fees for us right from the start. And then also there's a big focus on Africa, and then also on the decision-making aspect of it. So if you are wondering if the MBA is the right degree for you, there are things called an executive MBA, which is usually for people in the C-suite and so on. What we're looking at here, let me just mute that person. There we go. We are aiming for people that will be in senior managers that would be in the next 4 to 5 years want to proceed into the C-suite. That's the target segment for us in the MBA. So quite a senior group. This is not your junior manager that should be doing an MBA. Compared to most European schools, actually, we would regard it as an executive MBA. There are three streams in the MBA. And again, I don't want to, this is in the brochure as well, so I don't want to belabor this point too much. There's a general stream. So this is for anyone that want transferable skills that would be applicable in any career in management. So that's the general stream. Then there's the project portfolio management stream. So you would have seen there's a PG Dip in project management earlier. So if you do the MBA with project management specialization, it's very much about managing a portfolio of programs, of projects rather. And then the third one, also the first in South Africa, the Healthcare Leadership MBA. So this was the one established probably about, I think, 10 years back already. And this is aimed not at people that want to go more into clinical medicine, but more into management. So it's professional leadership in the context of medicine. The formats, and this is true for across many different programs. So if you are interested in even if you're interested in a PG Dip, or another program that has the blended versus modular. The blended format means that you often would have a block on campus and then after that weekly sessions, but the sessions are like this, it's like in Zoom. So you are physically in a group of people. We force people to have their cameras on, so not like now, but of course, you just here for out of interest, so I'm not going to force anyone. But you are synchronous. Like it means you're all in the class at the same time, which is different to asynchronous, where you can watch videos in your own time on the side. But with the synchronous, you've got the interaction, you've got the group conversations, you've got debates in the virtual classroom, etc. So it is quite important for us. The blended program provides a lot of flexibility. The blended program is a little bit cheaper. The two programs cost exactly the same, but the blended means that you can attend this from home. You don't have to fly to Cape Town. You don't have to pay for accommodation, etc. Having said that, if anyone would ask me what is my favorite mode of study, it would be modular. I would always encourage people, if you have the opportunity to come to campus, to regularly meet up with the cohort that you study with, that's worth a lot. That networking, people find jobs through that. You build networks where you want to do a project at work and you know someone that's in that bank, or you know someone that's in Zimbabwe or whatever. So the modular can sometimes be attractive to people with families. So, you know, friends of mine said that their parents always complain the kids never come visit. So they go leave the kids with their parents for a week, and then she or he comes for the modular block. And then you can focus deeply in that week and you don't let work interrupt you, etc. Not everyone has that luxury, of course, which is why the blended program exists, and the blended program is very popular with our students. The admission requirements, so I think this is very technical, but you need a 4-year bachelor's degree, so a BEng, if you have an engineering degree, that would be, or an honors or an existing postgraduate degree, or a 3-year bachelor's plus a PGD that's at NQF 8. You need work experience. Like I said, for us, these are not the people that will be in class with you are not junior people. They're relatively senior already. They already have managed people in their jobs and so on. I would say that's the median of people. In other words, the most abundant group in class is usually that group that they've managed in organizations, they've gained work experience, and it means in the classroom you can speak with authority. You're not speaking, you know, someone that's never been in a work environment that has got this really crazy ideas of what business should be like. I'm not going to talk too much about this. Henry, just remind me, are we allowing SHL this year?
Yes, we are.
As well, are we? Okay. Yeah. All right. So you can enter with SHL or with GMAT. GMAT, of course, is if you want to go to a number of schools, but GMAT often requires quite a bit of preparation to get into it. A friend of mine studied at a different university, and it took him 3 times to get the GMAT score that he required to get into that institution, whereas SHL does not require preparation. It gives you a little bit more idea of the raw ability of someone. Okay, let me move on. So that was the MBA. So the PGD, the PGDIP that leads you into the MBA is the PGDIP in Business Management Administration. So the PGDIP BMA. It's more targeted at someone that, you know, wants to know a little bit about business, that want to implement this in their company, that want to focus a little bit more onto entrepreneurship and so on. You would probably know this if you had attended any of the other open days with other universities, that all master's degrees in South Africa have to have research. So if you do an MBA, you're also going to do a research assignment. Whereas the PGDIP, if you're not sure if you are interested in research, I mean, that's a whole different conversation. The PGDIP is an easy way of testing, you know, would I enjoy an MBA? You can do the PGDIP in 1 or 2 years. We recommend 1 year, even though 1 year is quite tough. My wife, because she gets a bit of a discount at the university, she did the PGDIP in futures this year, and she did it 1 year, and it is quite tough. So you can spread it over 2 years as well. And, you know, then you will do the base modules in the first year, and then you will specialize your PGDIP in the second year. The PGDIP BMA is offered in both the blended as well as the modular format. So we've got a group of people that once a week will meet in a Zoom room for classes, and we've got a group of people that every few weeks, like every 6 weeks or so, will come to class and attend class on campus. Professor Nicoline Wesson, she's the head of the PG DIP in BMA. Next year we'll actually have a different head because Nicoline will be on study leave. But you can see here, for entrance into the PG DIP, you need a degree, or you can also enter through RPL, like I said earlier, recognition of prior learning. And then also you need some work experience, you need to be good in English, and also a local or foreign qualification that's equivalent to NQF 7. The PG DIP in Future Studies, this is the preamble to the Masters in Future Studies. So this is the only way to get into that Masters. So this is more about strategic foresight. If you haven't come across Future Studies yet, Future Studies go from the assumption where they say you can design the future that you want. We can imagine different futures. That's the whole point of we don't predict the future. We can envision that with the current trajectory, there are a number of futures that we can envision. Which one is the one we want, and then make it happen. So that's what the Futures degree is about. It's a very, very good specialized course. As far as I know, it was only the second one in the world when it was designed, and for many years it was the only one in Africa. But it is still regarded as one of the top, well, definitely the top futures program in Africa. So I've said this kind of already, but it is to imagine the future, to explore alternatives, and also to think about, how can you make that future happen? I said it's not about predicting the future, it's about alternative futures and about change and complexity and all of those interesting things. As you can see, I'm moving quite quickly because I know that you might have other questions, and some of you, if you are interested in futures, you're more than welcome to bring me back to these slides. But for now, I'm kind of just trying to keep it going. The two streams of the PG DIP, there's a general stream in the PG DIP, and then there's a managing new technologies. So here they will also look at AI and things like that. But yes, for the one is more kind of for the people that work in strategy, and this one is more kind of, the chief technology officers and people like that. The program details, it's an NQF 8. This is, of course, like I said earlier, this is the PGD. So it's an NQF 8, 120 credits. It's only in blended. It's 2 years or 1 year. And it's in English, and all the other things are valid that I said earlier as well. You need a bachelor's degree, a minimum of 2 years experience, and then you need to write an essay and a CV when you submit your application. The Masters in Future Studies, this is an NQF 9. It's 180 credits. It's accredited by EQUIS and AACSB. I'm not going to go into too much of the detail. I think what I said earlier about, envisioning the future, making the future happen, all of those things gives you a good idea of, well, at least the ethos of what you would expect in that degree. There's also a PhD in Future Studies. I'm not going to go too much about that. Our PhD is a structured PhD, which means that your first year is actually preparing for the PhD. So we do not register you for a PhD immediately. We first put you into a preparation year where you write a proposal, you come to campus, you work with our academics, you have class about quantitative and qualitative research and different methods within those. And then by the end of the year, you present your proposal, and at which point you would be accepted into the PhD program. The PhD program in futures is probably the only one in Africa, as far as I know, because there's not many futurists in the country, at least ones that are qualified. You get lots of people that, call themselves all kinds of fancy names, but not the real deal. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into that. The admission requirements, this is for, of course, for the PhD. This is Doris Viljoen, like I just spoke about it earlier. So if you want to do the PhD in development in futures, you need an MPhil and then also a passing grade of 65. That's generally true for any of our PhD programs, that we want to see that you had a 65% in a reputable program. So, you know, not a fly-by-night business school that you got 80% for. That might not be sufficient for us. We are a little bit snobbish in that respect. Okay, development finance. So we spoke about the BMA, business management. Then we spoke about futures. So this is the third large department at the business school. It's probably the business school in South Africa with the strongest presence in development finance. I know that other business schools have it as well, but this is where it started. We were the first masters in development finance in the country. So it looks at development economics, it looks at development studies, finance, and it integrates all of these different things. So it's unique. The development finance is not like any other qualification. It's not a finance program. It's not development economics. It's not development studies. It's all three of those integrated. So it's a multidisciplinary field. It is an immensely powerful program. A lot of students from the rest of Africa do this program with very, very great results. I mean, we've got, I think, the Minister of Finance in Libya or somewhere. So there's, and in Namibia, there's every second, I'm exaggerating maybe, but every second week it feels like some CEO or CFO in Namibia is appointed with one of our qualifications, and often it is with development finance. So I'm not going to, again, you know, there's a lot of information on these slides. I'm sure Henry will share the slide deck with you. The PG DIP Development Finance is the gateway to the MPhil. You can study while you work. It's over 1 or 2 years. It's a PG DIP like all the others, so that's why it's still true. It helps if you work in the financial services industry or in a public policy environment, etc. And it's also looking at Africa specifically. So the 2 points here on the left is all about, you know, it is an African program. The MPhil, very much looking at policy type of things. It's a 2-year program. It's for senior people in development banks, in policy institutions like the World Bank, like the UN, like Africa Development Bank, like the Land Bank or the South African Development Bank, all of these ones, all of that is the target market. But for instance, we also have quite often people from the non-governmental sector, for instance, on promoting renewable energy and things like that would also be in here. But it is a finance program. So, you know, if you are thinking of this program, make sure that you have a background in finance. I wouldn't say that you need to be a quants boffin, but you shouldn't be afraid of numbers because you can see a lot of them. The MPhil, you need an appropriate honors or postgraduate program. We would like to see something in business, finance, economics, or commerce, but we've had people in law that it is actually, if you're smart enough, then you'll manage. But it doesn't help that you, for instance, have an art degree. That's not going to help you much to do this program. The PG DIP financial planning, one of the ones that I've skipped now, and if any of you are interested in the postgraduate program in project management or more information about the masters with project portfolio management, if any of you are interested in that, I would recommend that you attend tomorrow night's session when Dr. Kuninel and Kyle Loff. Kyle works for City of Cape Town, but he lectures with us. He's also one of our alumnus. We're very proud of him. So they will do a session together about the PG DIP project management, and it sounds like they're going to do a very... Henry, what is that thing that they're going to do? That's how to save a company in an hour or something. What is that again? Okay, I think Henry is not online at the moment, but we'll get him when he gets back.
Oh, sorry, I was looking for the mute button. I was on a different screen. Yeah, no, it's called how to save a failing project in 1 hour.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so those of you interested in project management, tomorrow night, that's the session for you. But so I've skipped that PG dip just because of, you know, I'm not going to present something that will be there.
Sorry, Prof.
Yes.
It's on Thursday evening.
Thursday evening. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Henry. What's tonight? Tuesday. Oh, goodness. You see, I'm getting old. I'm a professor. All right, PG Dip financial planning. This is a very unique South African qualification. So when we presented this in Namibia, there were quite a few people that was, oh, you know, they want to do that. You can do it, but South Africa, from a regulatory point of view, is the only country that wants you to have this qualification. You have to do a postgraduate diploma in financial planning to be a certified financial planner, a CFP. So quite often every year when our students write exams for the CFP, we've always got like 5 or 6 in the top 10. I think the last year we had the top 2. So us and Free State University compete. They've also got a very good program, as well as Millpark, I think. So it is a very well recognized qualification for people that want to become financial planning, like estate planning, things like that. So it says here, use the PG Dip as a stepping stone to becoming a CFP, establish yourself as a responsible financial expert. It gives you access to the MBA, of course, because it's a PGD. It's a 1-year program. It's online, and it's an orientation day, and also then managing projects with confidence. It's an NQF8 because it's a PGD. It's FPI recognized, so the Institute of South African Financial Planning Institute, because our students perform so well. So not all business schools will have that certification. It's a blended learning format, so you will have evening classes. So I see this one says evening classes twice a week over 1 year. So that's more than the normal PG dips, but anyway, you can, Henry and those people can help you. See, there's some questions.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, there we go. Thanks. Thanks, Henry. The assignments are all online, and the tuition language is in English. By the way, all the programs at Stellenbosch is in English. Many, many years back, we used to have an Afrikaans class, but those times are long gone. This is Musili. Dr. Lepiana, she's the head of the postgraduate diploma in financial planning. So it just says here, highly recommended, proficient in English, basic typing in Excel. No work experience is required in this program. Then PG Dip leadership development. So here it's about leadership. It's on 4 levels. It's understanding what makes the leadership journey at Stellenbosch quite unique. And this is regardless of which of the programs you do, they work with this idea of me, we, work, and world. So you have to understand who you are. You have to be, you know, what are your strong points? If I can use a quick analogy, you know, Martin Luther King was this very emotional speaker that could carry people with his words. And then you've got Margaret Thatcher, that was a clinical, analytical person that took people's arguments apart. Now, if you put those two in the same room, I would be challenged to say who would win the argument, but they argue in very different ways. So leadership is also unique to you. So firstly, it starts with who are you as a person, so that you lead from an authentic leadership position. Then it's about the we, it's about work. So what is the world, the work of business in the world in terms of leadership in the workplace, and then largely the world. So if you think of people like Bill Gates, all right, I would have said Elon Musk, but I wouldn't anymore. But those people that are in the global sphere and influencing world policy, and you know, that try to make the world better. So what is it? Leadership at a global level. So it does, this degree does look at those different levels, but it's very important that it starts with you. So it says here, shifting from a manager to a leader, it makes connections to see the bigger picture. So specifically this work and world aspect, performance of enhancing the performance of teams and individuals and so on. And again, study while you work. Then the PG Dip leadership, so still the same degree, but there's a specialization in nonprofits. I'm not sure if any of you would be interested in that, so I'm not going to look too much at that. But if you are working in the public sector, in other words, nonprofit organizations or the social impact sector, sometimes people working in government, etc., this is a very unique degree for you. The reason why we have this degree is we have a program for nonprofits, and it is an NQF 6. NQF 7. It's an NQF 7, and that people finished it and they said, but there's such a shortage of programs for nonprofits. So we designed the next one, which was this leadership development for the nonprofit sector. I'm not going to focus too much on this. This is Professor Bam, head of the postgraduate in leadership development for NPOs. You need to have a bachelor's degree or recognition of prior learning. This is quite common, actually, in this specific degree. A lot of people working in that social impact sector do not come from the formal education side of things. Then leadership coaching. So how is this different to leadership? Well, coaching, as you can imagine, if we talk about Rassi Erasmus, he's a coach, but you also get life coaches, you get business coaches, you've got entrepreneurial coaches. And the whole point of this degree in coaching, this MPhil, it makes you a unique coach for whatever environment you want to be in. So, people that have been through this program are startup coaches. They are business coaches, entrepreneurial coaches, life coaches, career coaches, you name it. So it applies the general field of coaching to the environment that you work in. So it is developing others and transferring knowledge. It's about building relationships, enhancing teamworks, and so on. It is a very strong, a lot of people also, on LinkedIn would say, "Oh, I'm a coach," or "I'm this," but there are very few places that actually provide coaching degrees, coaching qualifications. So it's gone through the whole SAQA NQF, so that you know that the outcomes of this program are at an appropriate level, that it's not going to be a Mickey Mouse qualification that you end up at the end of the day. Let me see. So yeah, this is it. So become skilled in talent development. This is this third point, develop your own authentic style of coaching. So I said earlier, all master's degrees have research to them. This particular one, your research assignment is developing this unique model for coaching of let's say that you are internal designer coach, whatever that could be. You will design your offering in your research project. Okay, and I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say about this. So this is Professor Nikita Blanche. So if you read up about him, he's quite a well-known and a very interesting person. He designed a thing called Coach Vici, which is an AI coach, which gets you about 90% of the same as what a person can. But he does absolutely phenomenal research work. So very, very inspirational to work with him when he teaches. And here on the right-hand side, you can see the usual things about what is required for entrance into this program. So again, an honors degree, work experience, you have to go through psychometric testing in this side. You write an essay, you do a research essay, and of course, you can also enter through RPL. One of our strongest coaching people this year is actually someone that came through recognition of prior learning. It's not a weak way of entering into the programs. I find that the people that come into the programs with RPL are people that are genuinely very, very well schooled, but none of it happened in a formal institution. It happened through the University of Life, if I can put it that way. I'm almost getting to the end. This is the PhD program, and at the right-hand side, you can see all the different PhDs. There is no such thing as a PhD in something. All of them at us, if you do it at the business school, all of them will be a PhD in business. But of course, you can then say that you focus on business management, on coaching, development, finance, or future studies, but it is it's still part of the same PhD bucket, if you like. PhD students, it's different. I'm going to just write the name here for those that you may have heard that there's a PhD and then there's a DBA. So DBA is a Doctor of Business Administration, and it's a very practical thing as opposed to a PhD, which is a research orientated, but it is practical research, of course. But Stellenbosch does not offer that. I'm going to just make a cross through it. Stellenbosch does not offer DBAs as an institution. We're a research institution. So they said that's not a degree that's appropriate for us. This is something that you should be doing with a Technikon, for instance. Your job with a PhD, I'm not sure how many people are interested in doing a PhD, but be careful of considering that. I have one, so I can speak with experience. It's not always the right thing to do, and if you want to know more, ask me why. The duration of a PhD program is 4 years. That's what it should be, and your first year consists of blocks on campus where we prepare you for a written proposal, and then you continue for 3 years after that. And of course, you can obtain your PhD while you work. I would just not advise that. It's a very demanding work. It's very difficult. Here are just some of the things that they say. They say here for us, for a PhD, they want to see a 70% obtained for your master's thesis. So not for the degree, for the thesis or the dissertation or the research assignment. They call different things in different institutions, but we want to see that you can do research before you enroll in a PhD with us. This is Professor Charlene Gerber, the head of our PhD program. And I think this is then my last slide. Individual applications, you can email that top one. You can also email Henry, that's on the call with us. And then if they want to look at, if it's a company that is interested in sending a few students, then speak to Henry or info@Stellenbosch. And there's a Wi-Fi number as well. That's everything from me. So thank you for listening. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if you don't mind, just unmute yourself so that we can have conversations, seeing people. It would be great.
100%. Thanks for that, Prof. Questions and answers, please. Thank you for that once again, Prof.
Henry, any questions that came up in the chat that you think is urgent?
There was questions in the chat, but it was I fairly answered all of them, so which is fine.
Great. If you want clarification, if any of you, Henry's not saying that he answered it, saying that he answered it, and there may not be questions, you're welcome to answer or ask a follow-up question if you have one. Any question? Please do ask questions. I find that, as soon as one person starts asking, then the tide opens. So please do not feel shy.
I see Madre is unmuted.
Yeah.
I will break the silence.
Please do.
Good evening, Jako and Henry. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for the presentation. Just on the PG dip for the business administration, business management administration. What is the qualifications you need again for that? It was an NQF 7 or 8?
Any degree. So do you currently have a degree?
Yes, I've got a 4-year degree in chemistry.
No, that's easy. No,
Okay.
No, not a problem at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you often will have, what makes an MBA, what people should understand about an MBA, it is, they sometimes refer to it as the jack of all trades, master of none. You have people that have law degrees, someone who's a CA, someone who's a production manager, and then like yourself, a chemical engineer on a plant, for instance. And you have
Not
to
at all,
teach,
but yes.
yeah, but all of those, a general skill set that all of them can master, and all of them can once you move out of this job into the next job, that skill set needs to go with you. So it is a general skill set, but it's a very valuable skill set.
Yes, yeah, I'll connect with Henry as well, because I would like also a one-on-one session just to see if my mind is on the right path.
Please do that.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Great.
All right, Jonella.
Thanks, Jako and Henry. So I had a question with regards to the Future Studies PG DIP, which
Yes.
Henry had answered. I think my question was prompted by how you were sharing that the MBA is more for like your execs. And when I was reading through the documents online and the prospectus, I noticed that potentially the PG DIP could also be aligned to more to people in managerial IT positions. And I'm sort of not there yet. It is a
Yeah.
future goal of mine. I'm
Yes.
currently working in a very practical world. So being hands-on in terms of the apps that we build, the analysis and
Yes.
so forth. So I guess I wanted to understand, is it something that I pause for now? It does seem like a very appealing program. Should I rather like try and accumulate that experience? Would I be at a more at an advantage if I have some managerial IT management experience before going into that?
I think it's a good idea to have some management experience, but what I would say is, well, there's a number of things you can do. The first thing I think you can do is we can connect you with some of our alumni, and then
Yes,
have a
please.
conversation with them. That because you can be honest with them, you don't have to feel like for instance, I can easily connect you to my wife who's now doing a PG DIP. And she understands that very well, that, if you go into a degree too early and you don't have the right experience, then you sit in class and, you don't speak from experience, and that we don't want that for you. And we don't want that for the rest of the group in the cohort as well. But there's another option, is if you enroll for the PG DIP, you can stop the PG DIP, or you can finish the PG DIP and then only later continue with the masters. And you will very soon actually learn if it's at the right level. But I think if you're wondering about this thing, it is likely that the answer would be give it another year or two so that you start working with people. What is your current job title?
So I'm a business analyst currently
Okay.
for a bank.
So okay. So I think a PG DIP can still work for you now, because it doesn't quite take you into that management space yet, but I would certainly not go into the masters just yet.
Okay. 100%. Thank you so much. And I'd appreciate you putting me in contact with any of the alumni.
I will do. Let me, well, you can, well, I will put my number in here. It is in the public domain already. Sorry, that's completely not my number. 8245276443. There we go. You can send me a WhatsApp, or you can send an email to Henry, and then I can connect you to Melvin, my wife, or Henry can connect you to some other PG DIP students or students, alumni.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Miguel.
Good evening, Jako and Henry. I just want to ask about the PG DIP in project management. Is it tomorrow's session or Thursday? Thursday. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's I must say it's a great program. So I would definitely recommend it to people. It comes very highly rated by the people that have done it. Kyle Loft, that will be one of the people that is presenting. He works for City of Cape Town, and I know that he's accelerated in the city very quickly on the back of his qualification.
Okay, and that's also on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick one, Makotso, what qualifications are required for the PG DIP project management? I have nine years in program and project management. So it should be just the, I think we have 7.
Is there a degree that goes with that? So the experience is definitely applicable. That's great experience. My question is it an RPL, or is it a degree plus experience?
I'm just trying to, I'm hoping he's going to respond. Besides that, any other questions? While we wait for Makotso. How can you complete the assessment, SHL or GMAT?
Yadu will get you just now.
No worries.
Okay, so when you apply, you will receive the link. So when you what's the word? It's not register. When you
apply, it is
when
apply.
you apply, when
Yeah.
you apply for the degree, you complete all of that stuff. Then they will send you a link to the SHL or the GMAT. But I think GMAT you can actually do now already. I would just recommend that. I think it's too late if you haven't done a GMAT before, or you haven't started to prepare. I think now is too late to try and prepare for a GMAT in order to get the GMAT done before the 31st of October. That's a very, very tight deadline. Yaru?
Hi, Jako and Henry. Thank you guys for the presentation. I just also spoke to Henry yesterday as well, and I just wanted to like have more like a follow-up question. So my background is I study at Stellenbosch University, and I have an undergrad in biotechnology. I'm gonna finish this December, but I also have startup experience. But in my undergrad, I founded a startup. But I know it's 2 years full-time work experience.
Yes.
So I was the founder and CEO while still doing my undergrad.
Yeah, it will certainly count. So you can register for the PG DIP. So if you feel that you need these skills now, and you feel that you've gained experience, and I would say certainly, you know, the experience that you've learned from going through that startup phase and being the CEO of your startup, that's spot on for the kind of experience that you require to connect with the content. What I would just say is there are things, for instance, in the PG DIP like responsible leadership, etc., which are very, it's like, you know, things like wisdom and things like that, which is may not be that easy for you to grasp right now yet. But I think I would certainly, if you apply for the PG DIP, they will admit you based on that experience.
Okay, thank you. I also wanted to find out, because I'm also trying to do a master's in innovation and entrepreneurship in Europe. And I spoke with the admissions team. The only issue, like they wanted me to do it, the only issue is there's the NFQ levels. So obviously in South Africa, like with an undergrad, it's NFQ level 7, and they went NFQ level 8. So they were like, okay with this program, and they wanted to find out if it is possible that, because some of the blocks finish in August, if by mid-September, an email can be sent with my results, or a letter from the professor to say that I will pass the course and still be able to enroll for a master's program.
So I think Henry can help here, but your international office at the main campus at Stellenbosch, they would be the right people to ask and to facilitate that process. But it's a well-known process of credit transfers and credit recognition between different universities. But I know that the qualifications at Stellenbosch are internationally regarded, so I don't think you should have too much of a problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
So just going back to the one of Makotso, he says he's got a MTech in public administration with 9 years experience.
Yeah, I think the MTech is equivalent to a master's, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure about the tech.
I know that the BTech is a NQF 7, but I'm not sure where the MTech is. But the MTech comes after the BTech. So yeah, you should be okay.
Yeah, you should be okay. And I think even, you know, with the number of years of experience that you have, plus the MTech, you wouldn't have a problem to get RPL into there. It should be fine.
All right. Anybody else?
Hi.
Yes, Reginald.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here from Namibia. I just quickly wanted to get the clarity on the development finance PDEP program. Is the contact sessions, how frequent are they, and what is the duration? Is it for a week or a few days?
So are you talking about the PG DIP?
Yeah, PG DIP in development finance.
The PG DIP does not always, I think, actually the PG DIP doesn't have a block anywhere. But in the beginning, I know that there's a week, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, another 3 or 4 days that you have for the morning like from 8 until 12 or till 1. There's like a few days that you have a bit of a longer day of, and it is just because there's too much content to fit into a year of 52 sessions every week. So they have 2 blocks that are more condensed. Understanding the world and responsible leadership are the 2 ones that they do like that. But they are online, so you can attend from Namibia, and they can communicate that to you long in advance.
Okay. So there won't be any need for me to have any contact sessions.
No.
Okay.
In fact, that information's on the website as well, regional.
Okay.
So yeah, that is in the morning, or remote.
All right. No, thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's good to see some Namibians on the line. It's always great.
Reinhard, Boma, anything on your side? Okay. I just have a quick question.
No, thanks. I don't have any additional questions to what I already asked.
Okay, thanks, Reinhard. I just have a quick question. I'd like your perspective on, I'm considering further studies and I'm torn between pursuing a master's in engineering or an MBA. My main concern is the cost, as MBAs are quite a bit more expensive. From your experience, do you think MBA really holds that much more value compared to a technical master's, particularly within engineering and the broader engineering field?
It's an absolutely great question. So just out of, I think the objective of the 2 are slightly different. So if, for instance, you want to become let me put this in marketing terms. I'm a marketing professional. I want to become the marketing manager. Then I would say an MBA is the suitable thing. If I want to become more skilled at designing advertisements, then I would do a master's in advertising. The same thing with engineering. If I want to become a better engineer, if I want to design better bridges, that would be a master's in engineering. You specialize. So actually, there's a very critical point here. A master's in engineering is a specialist. You become more specialized than what your engineering degree was. An MBA is going to give you a much broader knowledge. Like I said earlier, it's jack of all trades. You learn a lot about finance, strategy, leadership, HR practices, all of those different things, operations, all of that is in there. So that's the first part of my answer. The second part of the answer is it financially worthwhile? 100%, but it depends also on your career prospects of where you are. So if you are in a situation where there's not much promotion opportunities in your company, then I would say, you might not get the return, but a lot of people can vouch for the fact that you get a very quick return on your MBA in terms of promotion opportunities. But what I would recommend is don't switch during the start of your MBA into any, of course, it depends on the kind of positions that you switch into. But trying to switch into a new role in your first year of MBA, for instance, that's just suicide for your job as well as for your MBA. But don't wait too long after your master's to switch into a different degree. So I would say there's a lot of research that shows that MBAs pay for themselves. You see that financial return very quickly. I did my MBA back in 1999, so it shows you how long I've been around. And I wouldn't even doubt it for a second to do it again. It was definitely worthwhile. Just in terms of also the career prospects that it opens up, I think it's amazing. If you're an engineer, you're pretty much in the track for an engineer. But once you start doing an MBA, you are actually multi-skilled to go into many other places. Elaine says, I have a diploma in nursing and PG dip in ICU nursing and 50 years experience in management and leadership in public health. Do I qualify to do the MPhil in coaching, or is it the RPL route?
I've been pondering on this one. I do think she should be able to get in.
I don't think it's I don't think it's an issue of getting into the MPhil coaching. And I think actually go for it. I think with that nursing, caring, that kind of background, going into coaching there's a fit there that I think can be very beneficial and is beautiful. So I would go for it.
Jako, sorry, if you don't mind me also jumping in, I wasn't going to ask too many questions about stating what I've done and so forth, what I want to do, but seeing that everybody's asking it. So I did my BC degree in chemistry and textiles. It was a 4-year degree. But afterwards I went into retail. So I worked at big retail companies in the buying and procurement sector of that. So from that, I've been in the procurement, supply chain, inventory, and that type of space. Now I'm also stuck. I want to progress, but I don't know where there
So are
is
you in
currently.
textiles at the moment?
No, so I'm just in plain procurement in a different environment at this stage. So no, I've traveled from retail to healthcare, and now I'm in like outdoor products, but it's also retail. But I've been in that space for a while, and I want to step up in a higher managerial position, in a senior position.
Certainly. Okay, so this is actually for all of you to listen up, because it is quite a critical point. When I did my MBA, there was a guy, a French short guy, almost a dwarf, like a big beard, French burly guy, like the Lord of the Rings guys, Professor Thierry Grange, and he said to us, he said, an MBA is a meat stamp. So you know when you buy, not all of you buy meat, but at the butcher, you've got that green or blue stamp on the meat. And it said that, you know, your MBA is a quality stamp. It just shows that this person can think on their feet, they can solve practical problems. But your background, you cannot undo your background. But then again, your background can also be your strength. So I can certainly say that, you know, it can open doors for you. I've seen amazing switches with MBAs. I've seen people that were music teachers that became analysts in Investec and those places. So I think it can open doors for you. What is my reservation here?
Because I'm currently, I wanted to do the MBA, but my reservation was the fees because I would have to pay
it's pricey.
Yes. So
It is
that's
pricey.
where I opted for the PG dip in the business management. Like I said, it's a gateway to the MBA. So I'm considering that, but I don't know if I must rather specify in supply chain, but I don't know. But I think I want to do any business. Yeah.
I would strongly go speak to a career counselor first.
Okay, for that.
I would say if you are interested in doing the MBA anyway, and you qualify for the MBA, don't go the PG dip route first. I think you're just wasting a year or 2 years of your life, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and sadness.
Okay, so you would recommend going for the MBA straight up?
Go straight into the MBA. Don't do PG dip.
Okay, I'll go and read on the internet on the course structure and all of that to see
but
what it entails.
I would definitely recommend go speak to a career advisor, but someone proper. I'm not actually sure who to advise you to.
No. I get
look
you.
at.
I get you. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. I do ask, could you please let me know if the PGW in business management administration requires a minimum academic average? No, it doesn't. No, and if you've got biotech, Yadu, and you've been startup, I don't think you should be concerned about that. You definitely would be allowed into the program. Pleasure. Some really interesting questions, so to feel free. Mimi, kindly share the closing dates of the programs discussed. I'm in healthcare management, eager to do masters. Let me just get my slides shared here again, but 31st of October, pretty much.
Yeah, 31st of October. That's for all the applications for all the programs.
Yeah. I think it's all the way to the start. Let me just go.
Well, Prof, looks for that. Does any other questions? Because I think that, yeah, we're nearing to the close. So yeah.
No, it's card. No, I think we've said the answers on, but I'll just want to confirm on screen. So 31st of October is when the applications close.
Yeah. Emily?
Hi, Jako. Thanks so much for taking your time and
Sure.
at least giving us clarity. For me, I'm skeptical now. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't know if ever I can still go through this. I don't know.
I think these are big decisions. They are big decisions, and as much as I want you to study with us, I'm also hesitant to tell people, everyone should study, because that's sometimes the wrong message. So what is your question? What are you scared of?
My question is that I'm interested in that postgrad development finance. Development finance, and to not be in a class scares me, because I cannot focus. I know myself.
Yes.
So
look,
at least if ever I'm in a class,
it's
for
a challenge.
At least a block of 2 weeks. At least.
Okay. Are you happy to wait for a year?
Another year?
Yeah.
No, you can advise and refer me to another institution.
I don't know. I don't know many of the other institutions that offer development finance in an in-person program. I just know. So what are your current qualifications?
Degree in development studies.
Okay, and it's a degree.
And I
so
work
it's
in Development Bank of South Africa.
Okay.
Yes. And yes, I am exposed to projects and daily.
So what I am wondering is I'm wondering if you shouldn't. Look, you could apply for the RPL, the Recognition of Prior Learning, to get into the Masters in Development Finance. The problem that you have with that is we can only allow 10% of our student population as RPL candidates, which means that if we've got 200 students that apply, we've got 20 positions. So, and if you don't make it into the top 20, which I think, listening to you, I think you will, but I don't want to overpromise to you. If you don't make it, then they will automatically advise you to go for the PG dip. But I 100% agree with you that my wife did her PG dip now in 1 year online, and it's tough to every Wednesday evening sit for 4 hours and listen to someone speak on a screen. It's very, very tough. So I would strongly recommend, if you can, try to do an in-person program. I think I hate to do this, but I think WITS has one. But we are hoping that in 2028, we will go back to having a block of all the students on campus. But it still won't be a modular program. It will still be blended programs. Henry, am I right that the PG DIP Development Finance is not available in modular?
Nope, not in modular, strictly online. I think it was still available in that a couple of years ago, but but I do think maybe she should try for the M4.
Yeah, Emily, I would recommend go for the M4, but go for the modular M4. You're going to love it, and you've got the right background, and you've got development studies already behind you. So many of the things that the PG DIP would have wanted to teach you, you already have under the belt.
Yeah, and also Emily. Also, Emily, I think you've got my details. I'll actually put you in contact with the head of the program, Prof Ashinafi, because we've had a query about somebody who's got development studies before, and I think he will be the right person to also guide you as well.
Yeah. I see Reginald also has a question that's
similar
related to that. Yes. Sure. Reginald, I wonder if we should also not refer you to some of our alumni. I mean, you are in Namibia, so connecting you to some of our development finance people in Namibia. Henry, would you be able to facilitate that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, we've got quite a bit.
I think that by far, you know, we see it from the university side, and the alumni see it, how they experience it. So if you speak to a few development finance students that may have done the PG dip or not have done the PG dip, and tell them, and I don't think it's necessary if you've done the honors in business management already to do the PG dip development finance, to be honest.
Yeah, they'll probably just look for a strong quantitative background for the info. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because as I'm listening to the conversation, there's a strong leaning towards PG dip, whereas I have a strong feeling of going into MPhil. So I was just a bit confused. Is it yeah, which way should I go?
Go speak to some of the alumni.
Okay.
You can contact me, Reginald.
Okay, no, I'll definitely do that. Thanks, Henry.
Henry, I think we should start closing down.
Yeah, I think so too. So, all right. So if there are no more questions, I just want to thank you very much for joining us tonight. Tomorrow we have a session with our alumni. We will be speaking about their student journey, what it feels like when they first arrived on campus, what the journey was like in terms of being a student at the business school. So I think for you that's quite keen on joining us. Please also join us for that session as well. So yeah, Prof Jako, thanks very much for your time and for joining us. That's always a pleasure doing business with you. And Michelle, on the technical side of things, thanks very much for your time as well. And to all of you, we hopefully see you soon. And make sure that when you do start your journey, you started with Stellenbosch Business School. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye. Thanks,
Thank
Henry.
you so much.
Thanks, Michelle.